guys, Jimmy here, and welcome back to another video. So simulation enthusiasts, you're going to like this one because we're not in horrible real life. Well, we kind of half are. But today we're going to be taking a look at something that I've been working on with a couple of partners for the last couple of months or so to try and help me prepare myself, mentally at least, for my first race in the Praga R1 at Silverstone, which is actually at time of recording this Friday and Saturday, so in a few days time. I'm also in the Impreza right now because all my other cars seem to have broken down, which is a certified okay hand emoji moment. And the car that I bought to not drive is actually the most reliable it seems so far, which is very weird because I feel like I should have had a head gasket go by now. So yeah, we're quite obviously not in the shed and not at home. That's because building this simulator, I just have no room. You've seen the shed. There's barely room for... It's barely bigger than a prison cell, which is a weird thing to compare it to. So I'm actually at the very glamorous Abruzzi HQ because Ben, the owner of Abruzzi, was silly enough to give me a space to build this rig. So thank you, Ben, for letting me just take over a part of your office. Abruzzi HQ is also the place where this died, the 350Z. It's been here for the last couple of months because the clutch went, but does it still start? Go on, girl. Yeah! Whew. Sorry, got sidetracked. Let's go look at this rig. It's awesome. So yeah, here it is in the corner of one of Abruzzi's many sheds. That's why I like Abruzzi. Fellow shed enthusiasts, very important. And this has been specifically built to emulate what it's going to be like driving the Praga. It's very similar seating position, similar style wheel as well. Heavy brake pedal, all those things. We tried to get those as close as possible to give me, a sim racing pleb, a fighting chance driving fast boy cars. This has sort of been made possible by a couple of partners I've got on board. Nils himself has given me a lot of his time in helping design this rig, including sending over this schematic of angles and FOVs and stuff like that, which I look at and just sort of my brain dissolved. The guys at Ascher, I can't say bloody Ascher. The guys at Ascher have provided their new S64 wheel rim, which is really cool so far. Feels really nice in my hands and has a ton of buttons on, so I can of course map those to similar mappings I'd have in the Praga. And Simucube also provided one of their awesome Simucube 2 Pro wheels. Same wheel that I use on my rig at home. Absolutely love it, and I couldn't think of a better one to have on this as well. So cheers guys, love you. And this is all really cool, right? But let me show you the pièce de résistance. And here it is. It's a Praga. Oh, well, not really, but it goes like one. Obviously, we don't have a model for the Praga in AMS, but we do have this, which is fairly close, and it also has a center seating position. And this has been Nils' little project for the last couple of months, getting this to feel as close to the real life car as possible. And it's what I've been using to train to get ready for Silverstone. Here it is, on board, so to speak, in our little Praga. We're at Silverstone right now. I'm going to take you around for a couple of laps. I'll get it all set up properly in a minute, and sort of talk about the car, sort of about how I've been approaching this, and again give you guys a bit of, I guess, insight into how I've been getting ready. I can tell you already that sitting here feels kind of similar to sitting in the real car, which for me is, it's mad going back that way and sort of seeing how accurate it can be, if that makes sense. Right, let's go! Onto the circuit then, in our little Praga. Now, of course, we aren't using the Praga model, but the cockpit is super similar. We're sat dead in the centre. This feels like sitting in the car. Maybe I'm a little bit high compared to how I would be in the car, but, you know, it's close enough, so to speak. And we come out then onto the Silverstone circuit. Now, we are driving the GP circuit here, and the weekend we are driving the international circuit. The difference is that when we come through this little sort of mini complex here, at the end, instead of turning to the left, we go basically down there, down this road to the right. Unfortunately, I don't have a version of the game, a version of the mod that has that, but it's definitely better driving this than driving Navran Azul. So make our way up through the gears, and you can see this thing's pretty sprightly in a straight line, pretty much the same as it is in real life, 220 Ks. 230 before we break the Brooklands. Nice heavy initial application and peel off into the corner. Let the tyre grip take over from the downforce. And for this very slow section through here, you've got to be patient in this car through here. A little bit of understeer as the tyres are cold. Coming out now past the old pit lane. And these sort of corners up here, the cops, these high downforce corners, Magnus and Beckett's, they're going to be my biggest challenge. You've got to bear in mind that This is downforce, that's probably going to be 5th gear though. And coming down here through Mags and Beckett, so you can really drive the car in. You've got to then peel the speed off, 5th gear. Again, easy on the brakes, just nice and smooth. This car isn't exactly a car that you can bring the neck off. It's a car you're going to be quite smooth with from what I've seen in real life. But that's where all the speed is in downforce. It's about getting the car slowed down effectively and getting the car turned in at the right time while that downforce is still there. So we're going to brake just before the 100. There, just drift into the corner then on the throttle on the way out. Easy there, that's going to be track limits on the weekend, so I've got to keep an eye on that. And then down to the Vale, well, I overshoot that a little bit, but it's been really valuable having a car that reflects the real life version so accurately. We've been working with Praga, they've given us a ton of data for the car that we can then pretty much just inject straight into AMS and go drive it and go see the difference. So as I said before, we're using the Simucube 2-wheel. The reason for that is, one, I think it's great, I've got one of these at home, and two, it helps reproduce the forces. This car doesn't have power steering. No power steering in this car. Oh my god, Jimmy, turn for the corner. No power steering, so you do have to really crank on the lock in this thing to get it round, and there is, your arms do ache. They ached in real life at angle C. I foresee them being quite achy over the weekend here at Silverstone, so having those forces to sort of, one, prepare myself and also kind of train a little bit, you know, it's definitely very helpful. We're using the Heusinkveld Ultimate pedals. People always ask me whether you should buy the Sprints or whether you should buy the Ultimates. For this, for this specific car, make sure we have the correct braking forces. The Ultimates are definitely the better way to go, because it means I can really hit the brake, because you have to really kick it in real life as well to get that proper braking force. So it's a good way to practice for that. Let's try and do a semi-decent lap. I'll try and talk you through it. So 5th gear, we're going to hold 5th, coming down to farm through here. On the brakes, turn her in. Easy application on the way back, let the car settle, and again a little bit of a lift through there to get the car to the inside. Going to brake quite hard, quite early, just so we can get the cornering speed there. Nice, carry the speed through 2nd gear. And again, 2nd gear all the way to the outside, come back in to meet that curb, and then aim for the exit curve there on exit. Might be running the curves in real life, I don't really know yet, but I'll do it in the sim. Then flat through there, using that downforce, letting it build up, and now we come down towards Brooklands. Again, another heavy braking zone, but you sort of pin off the brakes here because it comes into a sort of decreasing radius corner. There you go. Then soft, and you can run quite a narrow line here, and then just sort of square it off. I think that'd be 3rd gear in real life here, to be honest. That's why this thing's a bit of a weapon in 2nd gear out of the corners. Then the line of least distance past the old GT pits. Then that to Cops, proper corner this. I'm looking forward to trying this in real life later in the year. 5th gear through here. There you go. Probably get a bit more speed in the way in there. Now Magnus and Beckett, so we'll go all the way over to the right hand side of the circuit so we can get a straight line for this first part. Brake in a straight line here, let the car tip in. And again, 4th gear, using the curbs, and then down the 3rd for the last part. Aim for that curb on the outside, on the front one nice and early. And now the hanger straight. Go into 6th gear, getting up to 240 k's nearly by the end of the straight here. This thing is pretty damn fast in a straight line. Brake a bit late in the last lap. There you go, let it just drive into the corner, use the downforce, it really is planted in those corners, this car. And then big heavy brake, coming into Vale. Haven't quite got that corner right yet, but we had a decent turn at the end there. Using the throttle, 3rd gear early, 4th gear, that's a lap for Silverstone in our Praga. And I really can't wait to go this weekend and see how much of this I can put in to the real life counterpart, how much transfers over, because that's the thing that we're all interested in, me especially. So yeah guys, that's the rig. Hope you guys enjoyed kind of seeing what I've been doing to try and get good for this Brit car season. I'm hoping at some point we can get Jem on here, get my teammate in here to try and, for her to try it out. I've seen her set up at home, it's not ergonomically correct, no! And again, thank you all so much for the crazy support you've been giving me since, you know, this announcement was made, in the real life videos and the races leading up to this. And I'm sure probably in the comments of this video as well. The journey is going to be pretty difficult. It's going to be probably one of the hardest things that I've ever done in my life, but I'm 100% up for the challenge because this is my dream. And I'm just glad you guys can be here to share it with me. It's a very special feeling. Of course, a massive thank you to the channel members and the Patreons, and of course to the people and the companies who have been supporting this build. So thank you all so much, it means a ton. Take care, have an awesome day. See you next time.